Hello there, Project Open Mic audience. This is Andre with another Andre's Mic discussion. And this time I'm going to be talking about body positivity. And while, yes, I do know that this is a rather run-down subject, I have never really truly given my thoughts and opinions on it at all, in any format. And thus because I've not really thought myself through on it before now. And there are a few things that that have recently happened that I think people run with, and I'm just trying to look at it a little bit more critically, if I can, at all. Now, let me preface this because I know someone somewhere will listen to this and then think I am fat shaming, which I am not, because I honestly prefer my partner to be a little bit thicker. I prefer my women a little bit thicker. Hell, even Kevin Samuels, while he was alive, preferred thicker women, but he knew that with his platform, the types of men that a lot of the women were interested in didn't like thicker women. I do. But I'm also not blind to reality. And I'm not going to pretend to be blind to reality because I know the things that I see. I know the things that I hear. So there's no reason for me to lie to myself or to anyone else. Now, recently, Professor Jordan Peterson made a snafu on social media. And that's because of a thicker Asian woman being the front cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, I think. Honestly, this happened a while ago, so again, I'm not fully caught up on it. But he said something along the lines of, "You can't make me be attracted to you," which is fine because his personal attraction is not the same as mine. And I will say, I found the girl actually honestly attractive. He had a bad take. The first thing that I saw was people going down to try to crap on his credibility and say, well, I'm surprised that he was ever even a professor. Intelligence does not mean that you can't have a bad take or make a mistake on something or say something that will just be unanimously panned. He can do that. Because Jordan Peterson has been on the ball about a lot of things. So I'm not going to discredit him for having a particularly bad or disagreeable take for this one thing. Because honestly, he's speaking his preferences. Now, he was speaking his preferences from a place that sounded like he was trying to speak for the majority. And maybe he's right. Maybe he's wrong. Because I swear there are so many people that are on social media that do things and say things to try to make themselves feel better or look better, but they're not actually trying to be better. That's a whole different subject to really dive into, but that was what went on. And yeah, he's kind of right about how the media has tried to push one thing over the other. First, the media tried to push extremely skinny as being healthy, which we all know was not healthy. And there were people dying, suffering under those conditions to try to meet those weight goals. It's dangerous. It is unhealthy. It is not good for you at all. But now the media is going in the complete opposite direction. Like overcompensating for people being too skinny, and now everyone's blowing up in weight, which is also not healthy at all. Not saying that there aren't some bigger or thicker women that are healthy because they actually try to take care of themselves, but the majority is not that. Let's face the facts here. The majority, when it comes down, especially the United States, the majority of people are overweight. Hell, I'm considered overweight. And I'm not even that big. I'm 6'2", somewhere between 225 and 230. So I am considered overweight. I think I'm considered overweight by about 20 pounds. I don't look it. You would never think that when you just glance at me. But there are other people who are massively overweight, and in a bad way, because they don't attempt to take care of their health. And they'll look for any excuse to blame other than they don't take care of themselves. Now, the girl that was on that Sports Illustrated, woman that was on that Sports Illustrated cover, she tries to take care of herself. She's just bigger. You can tell by how her skin looks and how she kind of has a glow, unless that was like photoshopped. I haven't really looked at it directly. I haven't looked at like the physical cover to be able to really tell. But just looking at it online, she looks healthy. But there are many people who just don't spend their time taking care of themselves. They'll run to the quickest and easiest option almost all times. And that's not good for you. That's not healthy for you. And kids aren't being disciplined on what to eat and what not to eat, or how much of something to eat. That stuff is really unanimously gone out the window among most people. Especially when COVID hit and everybody was locked away. That was not a thing. It wasn't a thing to really just focus on trying to be healthy, at least not for the majority. And even before then, we were sliding into a slump where everybody was becoming unhealthy and heavier. And the body positivity movement honestly started out being about people with disabilities and things that they can't change, things that they can't fix, the situations that are in their life that they have no control over. That was what body positivity was about, and that's what it should have remained about. I don't mind that people being heavier got included in that. I do mind that the most of that focus was solely on women and not heavier set men, because there are a lot of heavier set men that are just heavy. Not a lot, but there are heavier set men that are just heavy because that's how their body is, even though they attempt to work out. But honestly, the majority of guys don't look like that. A large number do now, but not the majority. The majority of men actually do attempt to take care of themselves in some way. Me personally, I need to get back into working out. I kind of slacked quite a bit. I have to get back into it. There's a lot of things I gotta get back into, but that's one of them. Which is why my weight has remained stagnated. I haven't really blown up in weight, but I haven't really lost the weight that I wanted to lose, or gain the muscle back that I wanted to regain. But that's an issue on me. I can't blame somebody else. I can't blame something else for that. I have to take accountability for that for myself. If I want Andre to be physically fit and be in better physical condition than he is currently, I have to make him that way. I don't have the excuse of saying, well, I'm just too tired today. Why can't you just accept me for how I am? I expect that people will accept me for who I am. But if I'm unhappy with how I feel, I'm responsible for changing that. And body positivity should be inclusive of that. And it seems like right now it isn't. Like, I had a conversation with a girl in her comment section maybe a couple months back. And because she did a video, and it's like, why do guys crap on fat girls when they know that they want to sleep with them? One thing, guys will sleep with bigger girls because they can sleep with them. A lot of guys will do it because they know they can get it. That's simply it. It's not necessarily a thing about them even wanting to be with you. It's them fulfilling a need, which is horrible as it sounds. That's the truth. They're fucking you because they know they can. Simple as that. Which that isn't even the majority of men, which is the problem. Even the majority of men don't mind a woman's size so much as they mind her character. But if you're with the right one and you keep telling them, hey, I want to do this, that, and the other, and then they offer you help and you get mad at them, guess what that's going to cause? It's going to cause a rift. It's going to cause problems. And that is a major thing. But I had this conversation with this girl, and the subject of fat shaming got brought up. And I said, well, yeah, the people that are doing that are dicks, but that's not everyone. And it also happens a lot to skinny people. So her retort was, well, it happens to bigger people more. Now, obviously, yes, it does happen to bigger people more because there are more bigger people than there are very skinny people. That's just the facts of the matter, especially in the US. So, of course, there are going to be more people to make fun of someone who's bigger. But it doesn't make a difference to that person that's being put down or being made fun of. If they don't have thicker skin, they're going to feel just as isolated. Because I didn't even divulge this to her in the comments, because I was the skinny kid in school that got made fun of. But I didn't let it stop me. I didn't let it bug me so much back then. Because I knew they were just giving me shit to test me, to see if I would crumble under the pressure. Because for as much as people may think it to be impossible, kids test each other on a regular basis. Just like any other people do. But yeah, that was a little bit strenuous for me mentally as a kid. Because I just could not gain weight. I stayed under 100 pounds up until I was 13. And it wasn't that I was unhealthy. I was highly active. I ran. I ate a lot. I just did not gain weight because I had an extremely high metabolism. That was always the case with me when I was a kid. So while I do understand that people shit on and gripe about people who are bigger and who have more weight on them, I also understand that it sucks to be made fun of like that. But apparently she didn't want to listen to that. She kind of dismissed it. That it happens to skinnier people too. And that's a thing. When you bring up something to people that happens to others that is similar to themselves, they don't embrace the other people that those things happen to. They more than likely will recoil and say, well, it's more important because it happens to me. That's what body positivity has turned into. Like a woman like Lizzo, who made it great to be big. If she were to take the time to try to lose weight, she would be shit on by her audience because she took the time to lose weight. Even if she wants to do it. Just like I've seen people shit on Rebel Wilson for taking the time to lose weight, which was something she wanted to do. I don't get why people are like that. Like, if it's your body, why aren't you allowed to be happy in your own skin? Maybe you don't like the way you look. If you want to work on it, that's fine. Why should that be negative too? Shouldn't that be embraced? Shouldn't that be more expressed? That is the better thing. It's the better option. It's the better choice. But no, like, and I've seen it so often when you see someone who was bigger at one point lose weight. I remember seeing that be a thing when Missy Elliott lost weight. People shit on her for losing weight. You know, maybe it wasn't a lot of people, but I do remember distinctly seeing people talk about her losing weight as if it was a negative thing. Which makes no sense to me. If you want to live a healthier life, you want to be healthier, why is that a problem? As long as you're doing it for yourself and you're happy doing it, that should never be a problem. And that's the weird thing I see with body positivity. But then we should also be accepting if people are happy the way they are. Just like I recently saw there was this couple. The guy is like physically fit, like chiseled, but his wife is big, and he's happy with her. She's happy with herself. She apparently is healthy. I think she does work out and such, but she's just big. They love each other. They're happy together. And people, the first negative thing that came out of their mouth, and this was a lot of women, mind you, was, I don't see why he's with her. Look at her. Like, do you know whether or not that man found something in her that he couldn't find in anyone else? Like, maybe he's tried being with all of the prettier girls and there was something about them that he didn't like, he didn't enjoy. Why negatively shit on those people instead of letting them be happy? Especially when they're not hurting anyone. Their relationship does you no harm, does you no damage, but the first thing that you can do is crap on them. Or she must have money. Actually, guys don't look for that in women, at least not the majority. We don't particularly care. And if we do find that in a woman, okay, nice, cool, whatever. How does that benefit the relationship? How does that benefit me as the person that you're with? That's things that a lot of people don't consider. But that is also a subject for another time, so I'm not going to dive too deep into that. But body positivity should be about accepting all bodies that the person is happy being. My problem is that there are a bunch of miserable people touting how happy they are while they're in a state of misery, trying to pretend they're happy to try to get other people to accept them for just not having initiative and not having drive to be better. That's my problem with body positivity, at least with the way the movement is. What its original purpose was, I highly agree with. There shouldn't be a reason that a person that's been through a horrific accident and has had 90% of their body covered in scar tissue from third-degree burns shouldn't be accepted by society. Just like there's no reason that a person that's a paraplegic and can't walk shouldn't be accepted by society. Or someone who was born with a birth defect that they just couldn't control in their life, or may have had an accident. Those people should be accepted by society and should be respected and treated like people and not like abominations. That's what the purpose of the movement was originally about. And again, I'm fine with that being inclusive of people's weights, whether they are large or small. I'm accepting of that. I'm fine with that. I just think that the purpose should always be a positive one. And it shouldn't be getting used negatively to shut down and shame people that do better for themselves or work out for themselves. Like Jillian Michaels. I think that's how you say it. I think it's Jillian. Jillian Michaels, who used to be a big woman, came out to talk about this. This was years ago. But came out to talk about how it's unhealthy to promote being bigger as a healthy life choice. And she got shit on and shamed for it when all she was trying to do was help people. It's different if you are in a situation where that is how your body is just genetically versus you choosing to be that. And now it's bleeding down into kids. Because kids without the right type of guidance, without the right type of exercise and energy dispersal will blow up like balloons. And there are so many people that are unable to handle and control and work with their kids because they fed into a lifestyle where the child has no discipline. They don't know the word no. They don't know you can't have that. And they're blowing up. And that's going to affect them in their life and in their health for a good long while. That's going to affect at least the next generation and a half. People wish to pretend that that's not the case. I see the reality of it. Again, I'm all about body positivity. I'm about seeing the best in people. But what I'm seeing at the moment is that people are taking what should be the best of themselves and being lazy about it. Not everyone, but a lot. Because the numbers are increasing. If those numbers are increasing, that means that there are more and more people feeding into this idea and accepting it, which is a problem. And it shouldn't be that way. And there are people being crapped on for trying to be healthy. Now, unless you're like somebody who's trying to force your ideas on someone, like a lot of people who are vegans, not everyone, but a lot, then that's the problem. So, like people pushing body positivity in the way that it is, okay, you have to accept me for who I am. No, you don't have to accept anyone for who they are. You can acknowledge that they are that person. You can respect that they are that person, but you do not have to accept them into your life as that person. That choice is solely up to you. Again, relationships of any kind are discriminatory by nature. And this is something that a lot of people are going to have a hard time understanding. But I'm done, at least with this subject for now. If there's anything that I think of, I may revisit it and add my thoughts to it then. Otherwise, thank you all for listening. I do hope that this was helpful for someone in some way, shape, or form, and that you are all in good health mentally, physically, and emotionally, and that you are taking care of yourselves. And if you do need help, reach out to someone and get the help that you need. Don't stagnate on it, because it will eat you up from the inside out. Trust me, I know. But that's it. Thank you all, and hopefully you have an enjoyable day or evening whenever you hear this. Peace out, everyone.